Well, good evening, family. Good evening. It is 6 minutes past the hour on this eighth day of April. It is Tuesday, Tell the Truth Tuesday, and we are on at a very unusual time. You're normally used to seeing me early in the morning, but I decided to come on in the evening because, family, we got a lot to talk about. There is a lot going on. So, as you know, yours truly, Joe Dupree, in the building from 100 BLK, the Black Station. Most of you know me from Community Conversations and hashtag Truth Be Told, where we have a new part of the family where we're trying to connect the dots. We need conversation that elevates, informs, inspires, and it transforms. You know, we do a lot of talking, but the question is, what are we going to do to bring about some real change? That's the question. What are we going to do to bring about some real change? You can follow us on all the social media. We are right now broadcasting live on Facebook Live. We are on YouTube and we are on Instagram at the JDMS. On YouTube, we are at 100 BLK Media. So come check us out. Look, I'm not in here by myself tonight because there is a lot going on. We got people getting deported, sent down to prison camps. And then they turn around and say, well, you know, we kind of sent the wrong person. And then we get a court order saying that we need to bring the guy back. And all of a sudden, folks are saying, no, you don't need to bring the guy back because our people really didn't make a mistake. He's really the gang member we say he is. So we need to leave him down there. And the whole crazy thing is they are proving that this guy has no affiliation with none of this. So we're going to talk about that. Of course, we're going to talk about tariffs. They tell me promise made, promise delivered. So I remember a promise being made. And I believe, if I'm correct, the promise went a little something like this. On day one, you ain't got to worry about these prices going higher and higher and higher because I'm going to make that stop. It ain't going to happen no more. Cost of eggs are going to go cheaper. Y'all are going to have a lot of smiles on your faces. And I don't know why that promise was given because that promise seems not to have been delivered. So on this evening, not only am I by myself, but I also have someone else that's in the building and other folks are going to be jumping in too. We ask you to jump in and be a part of the conversation. Come on in. Let's get it in. Let's get it in. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this with a friend. It is the great man himself, Sean P. It's in the building with the Sean P. Experience, the author, the speaker. Sean P., good evening, my brother. How are you doing on this evening, my friend?
What's going on, Joe? I'm enjoying this. This is more like my time right here. I'm not really a morning person, but the evening time is the right time for me. So I'm enjoying it. I am so glad for the phone call and opportunity, man. I want to chop it up and talk about some of these crazy, wild times we living in, man.
Man, we got to connect the dots. I mean, measles outbreaks. I mean, you name it, it's going on, and we really need to pay attention. You know, I think we really, really, really need to pay attention. You can go to my website, www.dthe100blk.com. You can catch this podcast and many others. We got other folks that are going to be coming on throughout the night. Tell a friend to tell a friend. If you want to join in on the conversation, I'm going to open up the phone lines very soon. But let's get a little monologue going here. There is a lot going on. We have foreign exchange students. And I just asked myself because, you know, I have children that just graduated from college, have a child getting ready to go to college. How would that feel to get that phone call? Hey, your child has just been detained by American authorities and is now in an American jail waiting deportation back to the country that you live in. But it's so much thinking that your child is now incarcerated just because they spoke a word about a group of individuals that they felt was doing them wrong. You know, they didn't say we're going to blow up America. They didn't say we're going to blow up a building, but they just said this group of people are causing a great deal of harm to my group of people. And to see those then individuals get apprehended, incarcerated, you know, and listen, the craziest thing is, and that's why I tell folks, you got to know the law. I'm convinced, Sean, that there's some people out here that's talking a lot, but most of them that talk don't know the law, don't know nothing about business or wealth management, have absolutely no idea about the Bible. And you know, they're just talking to talk because they know they have an audience that will listen. And that saddens me that we've got a lot of folks out here that are continuously talking, but when it comes down to solutions or what can we do to make our neighborhoods better? What can we do to make our household better? What can we do to make life better for us in general? They don't have no answers for that. They tell you look toward the politicians or look toward this government agency for help, but not understanding that all this talk with no solution gets us looking like we're hamsters on a hamster wheel. So talk to me, man. Talk to me. How are you doing on this evening? Since the evening is your time, how are you doing?
That's a great question, Joe, man. I'm doing all right. I'm maintaining like everybody else, trying to keep your mental health and your emotional stability in these trying times, trying to find that balance and have that self-care, take care of ourselves, make sure we're doing our basic necessities that we can do. And I really believe in controlling what you can control. I try my best to control myself, my household, my surroundings, and then go from there to go to the community, man. So just working on myself, man.
You know, when I look at things that are going on in the state that you and I both live in the South, we're both, you get even further south than us, you're in the Gulf of America. I mean, the Gulf of Mexico. You're we're in Louisiana, and I see the things that are going on in our states now. Right now, the trumpets of jubilation and triumph have been sounding because there was 4 constitutional amendments that was on the ballot, and the people of Louisiana said no to all 4. And some of those constitutional amendments really had me wondering what was really going on. But what I love to see and saw was our people coming together and saying, not today, not on my watch. And I think if we would do that more often and understand the value and the power of our voice through the vote, some of these people who are in office would never be in office. Go ahead, my brother. Speak on it. Speak on it.
No, we have a national, international audience being on the internet. People got to realize where we live at. More cities than you think are predominantly black cities, bro.
Right.
So I never understood some of these cities, the mayor for the election and everything, they're losing by a few votes, where it's like it should be a landslide and we would all come out, show up, and vote. We have a lot more political power than we think. And so many of these towns have way more black people than white people.
Right. I mean, now Louisiana is saturated with a lot of people of color, black and brown folks. We are one of the highly saturated states of black and brown folks. And, you know, once again, we got to talk about real unity. We got to talk about how real unity looks and understand we got to denounce, kill, and eliminate this HNIC syndrome that runs rampant in our community. That if I'm not in charge, if I'm not getting all the praises, if I'm not getting all the credit, then not only will I not participate, I will secretly sink the ship. And in the green room, it is Miss CEO of Pimpin' Positivity. You know her from her very own podcast. You are in the passenger seat and she driving, because it is none other than the lovely, beautiful Miss Alethea Crimmins, who is in the building. Hey, Alethea, how are you doing?
Brothers, what's going on? I'm good. Tired, but I'm good.
Same here. But I just felt like we needed to come on and begin to do this thing at different times when people would least expect it, called Connect the Dots, where we got to start connecting the dots. We sitting around here and we looking like hamsters on hamsters wheels on these podcasts, because we talk, but we don't come up with solutions. Everybody in their individual silos trying to get click, like, and share. Ooh. Everybody is trying to be the expertado on whatever situation or subject it is out there, where everybody can say they know, but you really don't know. You know, and we have to understand, like I just finished telling Sean, a lot of folks act like they know how to do business, but they don't know how to do business. They act like they highly educated and know what's going on, but they really don't. They don't understand politics or understand the law, period. Because just because it's a law doesn't mean it's moral. And a lot of times there are some laws that are on the book. If you really look at them, they're not moral laws. They're not for the greater good of the community, especially our black and brown communities. Think about it right now. Now watch this. This is funny to me. Funny from a satirical place, not a ha-ha place. ICE apprehended a man in the city I live in, and they're on the news talking about it. A guy from Cuba got apprehended in Lafayette, Louisiana. He is now waiting deportation back to his native land because of the laws that are now on the books that have been upheld by the Supreme Court. And family, we got to just understand that these are different times. And we've got to get ourselves at a place where through all this talking, we begin to work together for some solutions to get us in a better place. Because guess what? Somebody probably out there building an ark like Noah, and somebody out there laughing at them while they're building it because somebody know the rain is coming. It's coming. Sister Alethea, Brother Sean, the floor is yours.
Go ahead, my sister. Go first.
A whole lot, just like you said, a whole lot of people are doing a lot of talking, and it's how can I make myself look good? How can I make myself feel important? And you really do not know what is going on. Like, I literally have friends that are nervous about bringing their loved ones to school because I don't know if my child will get off of the bus. I don't know if my child will get off the bus. I have friends that their family members now have to pretty much shelter in place because they don't want to go to work because some areas like in Texas, ice is heavy.
Oh yeah.
Ice was for Mardi Gras. We were walking down in the French Quarter. Ice was there. Like, this is real. And some people are making light of it. And
what paper is that, Sean? What paper is that?
This is today's Acadiana Advocate. On the front
what's
page,
in that?
On the front page is an article about ICE. And now they said bill seeks to ensure ICE cooperation. Measure could make it a crime to interfere with federal agencies. It could be a crime to interfere. So if ICE come into your school, they come into your house, they come into wherever, you better not get in the way.
But wait, teachers. So they have to, and they are literally saying, I will risk, and I feel for them because me being a former teacher, I don't know if I would let ICE come up in my classroom and take one of my babies. Like, they have teachers that are like, I will protect them at all costs, knowing what the outcome may be. But what do you do? What do you do? Like, what do you risk having an innocent child being taken from their classroom, not knowing what's going on, or do you hide the child?
I mean, Alethea, it is so much right now that to me, I'm just like, where is humanity? That's why I wanted to come on here. I had to connect the dots. I'm seeing folks see once again, and some folks are going to get mad. They're going to go back and watch this, and I'll get a whole bunch of text message, emails, and probably a few phone calls. That's why I don't care if you're Muslim. I don't care if you're Christian. I don't care if you're Hindu. I don't care. I don't care who you worship. Can you be righteous? Can you have empathy and sympathy for your fellow man and woman? Because all these titles folks are toting around, but are so cantankerous in the point of wanting to see somebody who breathes the same air they breathe, have the same blood running in their veins that they have running. They want to see them lose. But
let's just call a spade, and people might get mad at me. I don't care. It's okay for them to be here when they're doing your landscaping. It's okay for them to be here when they're fixing roads that you don't want to fix because you don't want to be outside in the hot sun. It's okay for them to build your homes.
Put the roof on your house.
Yep. Or down that roof.
That's
Or down that roof.
okay. And now all of a sudden, it's a problem. But it was okay when it was beneficial to you.
You know,
I want to say something, Joe.
go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
It's a population of even black people, as this stuff is happening, they're making their little jokes on social media, making their little memes and all of that.
Yes.
But think about one thing. If they're legally doing that to anybody else, you gotta think in the back of your mind, like, wait a minute. If they all of a sudden decide to do us like that again, I want to say, what's gonna stop them from doing that? So don't think you exempt. While you pointing the finger and laughing, making little jokes online, don't think that your household is exempt. They did it before, they can do it again.
And that's the point. I think they're trying us. I think they're testing to see how far they can go. Like, for example, today, as you know, they have DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, which is literally being ran by Elon Musk. So it is an agency outside the government that is literally the watchdog agency watching the government and making recommendations to the executive branch on what needs to be cut or what needs to be kept. So there has been made a serious move by DOGE to cut IT staff within the government. Y'all got too many IT people. So then today, on one of the websites for the parks of the United States of America, where they had information about Harriet Tubman, she gets deleted off. It's like they're testing us. Let's delete it off. Let's blame whoever over there, say they didn't know what they were doing, but let's see who's going to complain, because if they complain, then we'll say it was a mistake.
And Joe, are you mentioning DOGE on the same paper, front page? It's talking about bracing for a loss of $86 million for the health department for Louisiana. $86 million
just
loss for
Louisiana.
the health department.
Just Louisiana.
Yes,
Louisiana.
Sir. Yes, sir.
So family, here's what I'm saying. If this is just me, and anybody can chime in, I'm getting ready to open up the phone lines and be exact. I'll make it if you want to come on the screen, you can come on the screen. But if all this cutting is being done and all this money is being saved because folks have been asked to either retire or get let go of, and that's done happen, since all these people have lost their jobs, all this cutting back has been put in place, all these tariffs have been put forth, then why is not, and don't get me wrong, let me say this, this is not a Republican or a Democratic thing I'm saying. This is a promise given, a promise delivered. So I saw Jackson in the green room. Hopefully she'll come back. My question is, when will the common folk see the relief at the gas pump? When will the common folk see the relief at the grocery store? When will the common folk see the relief when they have to go and get any type of medical assistance and have to buy their medication? Because right now, I can tell you, the medication prices has changed from what they were last year. The price of insulin, the price of certain insulin products, certain products that folks were getting for weight loss and other things. Now, people can jump on and say, well, that's cosmetic, but life-saving, but hold on, life-saving medicines, heart medicines, cancer medicines, diabetic medicines, they are right now nowhere close to what they were this time last year. And that is because, of course, the people we have in government who control the legislation that works toward these pharmaceutical companies have come in and they pull back a lot of this stuff with Obamacare to say, hey, we're not supporting that no more. And my question is, do we not understand what is happening? And get this, folk talking about eggs. If eggs get to be $20 a dozen, guess what? Eggs are going to wind up being a premium delicacy. Just like, for example, I have a friend that eats caviar. I don't eat caviar. I don't like caviar. But one reason I don't like caviar is not because of the taste or the texture. It's because I can't afford caviar. So what happens when folks say, oh, you know that delicacy called eggs?
Hey, Joe, we're going back to the Great Depression, man. Eating little canned meals and potted meat and you know what I'm saying, beyond the sausages and whatever, trying to survive, man. That's what that is.
It's go ahead, Alethea. Go ahead.
That's pretty much what we're gonna go back to, because Joe said, well, when are the common folks gonna get a break? This system wasn't made for us. It was not made for the common folk at all. And Obama spoke on this, and he said, if it was me that would have did half, if I would have done just a little bit of what he's doing.
What's this?
He said, y'all would not have allowed this to be me. And he is absolutely right.
Yes. And look at our humanity. A lot of his man, he would have came from us. A lot of his man, he would have came from within. We ain't co-signing that, like, nah, bro, we ain't down with that. But them people over there, they're good at staying on code.
Right.
They might not agree.
Sean, you got to say that again. You got to say that. I'm giving you a full screen to say that one. Hold it. Say that one again. Say that one again. Say
those the other kind of people are good at staying on code. Meaning they might not agree with it, I want to say privately, but when it comes to the public, they're gonna be on code. They're gonna fall in line. And when it comes time to vote, they're gonna go out there, press that button. They're gonna do everything it takes. Even though they might probably be against it, they would never voice that.
So let me say something, and this is gonna blow y'all minds. So let me bring us all back.
That's called white don't eat white.
They don't. Hold it. And that's the truth. And somewhere I ask myself, why have we not observed the opposition, see their winning ways, and adopt those principles into our own place and say, if they can do it, I can do it too, and I probably can do it better. You know,
yes.
In the bucket.
But hold on, Alethea. See, so that's why I'm trying to connect the dots here, because I'm lost. I'm literally lost. We are all human and we all make mistakes. I'll raise my hand. I make a ton of them every day. Once again, we're broadcasting live on YouTube, Instagram, and we're on Facebook. So tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this with a friend. Jax is going to be coming in a few minutes. Let me throw up here where we're at, so folks are like, man, where are y'all at? So, you know, and we're doing this just to talk, but not just to talk. We want to have some conversation that gives elevation, inspiration, and transformation. So you said crabs in a barrel, and we hear that all the time, and truly we are. You know, sadly, most folks, it's hard for them to be independent speakers, independent thinkers, because most of us are all connected in some shape, form, or fashion to the man. That means if I say whatever I say, and I really say it with a fervor and a belief that I'm correct, and I offend somebody, my job might be on the line. My literal ability to provide for my family, my children, my grandchildren may be on the line, because somebody will make a phone call to my job and say, that person offended me, and I feel this, and they may even make up some stuff. You know, and that saddens me how we're so quick, as Sean said. It ain't folk that don't look like us. It's us trying to take out us. As Malcolm said, they send us to get us. And somewhere we need to wake up, because guess what? I can agree to disagree without being disagreeable. You know, I posted something today and somebody called me, are you trying to say something? No, I'm making a statement. For my peace and my mental well-being, I will delete, I will block, I will not speak to, I will literally turn out, I will Wakanda forever. Bam, I'm done. You know, I'm done, because first of all, I understand at 57 years old, and I have no shame in my age. that I have more years behind me than I have in front of me. So every moment, especially since I'm not a swami and know when my last day gonna be, you know, I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. So I have to savor every moment as if it is my last. So, I'm just asking myself because it ceases to amaze me how we won't support one another. It just ceases to amaze me how we won't do that. And then if I have a disagreement with you, or I may not see things the way that you see it, then all of a sudden we get to a place where all of a sudden you have become such a person with your philosophy that I disagree so greatly that I don't want to speak to you in any shape, form, or fashion. And to me, that's sad because I cannot agree with you and still respect you as a person and just maybe say, you know what, you stay over there, I stay over here. You keep talking that to the people who will listen. I'm going to keep talking mine, but I'm not trying to counsel you because we in a cancel culture where you say one thing that
I hate
somebody
that.
don't agree with, and next thing you
I hate
know, it's you against everybody. And I see Jax, and I'm waiting for her to get herself relaxed in. And as soon as she gets relaxed in, we'll get ready to bring her on. Go ahead, Alethea.
I must say, to you, I thank you and I appreciate you very much for bringing me on your platform and doing everything that you are doing for me.
Oh, shit.
I say that to say this, and you will be like, what? No, you are the only person of color that has ever opened a door right
Wait
for
a minute.
me
Wait a minute.
in this way.
Come on, Joe.
Wait a minute. Wait a
Hit the
minute.
bell. Hit the bell.
Hold on. That cannot wait a minute. So hold it. First of all, Lethea, I'm not going to call you the L word, a liar. But that saddens me. That saddens me because let me say this to both of you, to Sean. I'm getting ready to bring Jax on. And let me bring Jax on right now. Everybody, it is the author, the life strategist, the art therapist, the speaker of the author. It is our girl Jax is in the building. Let me say this to all. Let me say this to really all four of y'all. To all, well, yeah, it's four. There's somebody else in here. Let me say this to the three of you. Alethea, when it comes down to your ability to do what you do it much better than I do. I have no shame of saying you're better than me with what you do. You are the CEO of Pimpin' Positivity, much better than I'll ever be. Brother Sean P., when it comes down to breaking down these books, has made me begin to increase my library, made me find my passion as a child when I used to collect comic books and go back to doing what I love to do because of you. Sister Jax, when you had said there's a spiritual awakening, and you said, man, read that word, and that word is serious, and what God has to, what God, period, has to say means something, and you can't just let him speak to you and you not respond and expect for him to bless you. That don't work like that. All three of you are great in your own position. And guess what? I am honored that you even took the time out from your busy day to impart to the people through this platform the greatness that you give to me every time I pick up the phone and talk to one of y'all. I love y'all. And I just feel like I'm conjunction junction, watch your function. To be exact, I might play it before the show's over. But I just feel like that's what it is.
But like, is that like you and I knew that you would be like, what?
Yeah, what?
Ain't no way. How I got in the rooms that I've gotten in, how I've got to the spaces that I've been in.
Them non-melanated folks.
Yes.
But then,
Joe.
And people know, people of color know, they know what I do, and they will overlook and go to somebody else.
Sean,
I'm
go ahead.
Hey, Joe.
Sean, go
I
ahead.
hate to be the bearer of bad news on the podcast, for the positivity.
Come on.
But in my long-standing public speaking career, going to the schools, doing all these things with the books and all of that, when
Mhm.
these other folks call me, they're gonna pay for my travel,
Come on.
my hotel, they're gonna cut the check, they're gonna buy extra books for their library. It's all now whenever we call, oh man, do it for the community. Oh man, do it for the kids. Oh
Yes.
man, show them a positive mail. Joe, I went across the state one time. Guess what I got, Joe? I got a 2 for 20 Chili's gift card. This is a real story. 2 for 20. I went and did a whole 2-hour layout. Had to get a hotel up there and stay, and all that kind of stuff. I got a 2 for 20. Thanks so much for coming out, Sean.
Shut up, Sean.
I'm being,
I believe it.
No,
I'm being real.
So
I'm just saying.
then let's connect the dots on this tonight. 37 minutes past the hour. Why can we not uplift and support one another? You know what amazes me? You don't walk into Walmart and question their prices. You don't, hold on. You don't walk into Target and question their price. To be exact, y'all Blue black folk who want to act like you live in the hood, but y'all love being on the other side of town where all the nice stuff is. Y'all don't walk inside of Louis and Gucci.
Joe.
Hold on. Y'all don't walk inside Louis and Gucci and question their prices.
Let me do you one better. We don't walk into the Asian hair store and question their prices, but as soon as there is a black-owned hair store, why that's high like that? Or why that can't be? You don't.
Yep. Wait.
So if I was
Let me
vending,
tell y'all. Look, Sean, check this out. People don't realize this, right? In Kenya, AI is really big in Kenya. That's where they hire a lot of people over our brothers and sisters over in Kenya to do AI, where they have to filter through all the stuff, watch all the images, right? So they might say, okay, your contract is to finish up all this AI stuff and get it categorized within a mere 6 months. But if they finish it in 3 months ahead of schedule, you know what they get? They get a 2-piece in the soda, straight up, a 2-piece in the soda. But you know what's happening to a lot of our brothers and sisters over in Kenya doing this AI stuff? What's happening is that they are developing mental health issues because they have to watch so many hours of footage of bestiality, pornography, illicit activity, beheadings, and all of that stuff, so that they could then categorize it, so that AI could then put it all together for us to utilize Chat GPT and everything else. But yet it's destroying our culture and our people over in that country, and we don't even realize it. And then even the executives that have these companies that do Chat GPT and stuff will tell you only 50% of the material that they put in the system is actually even correct. So we have to be very careful. But it's funny you said that, 2-piece in a biscuit, because that's exactly what they're giving our brothers and sisters over in Kenya. But what up, y'all? How y'all doing?
What up, Jax? What's happening in Brick City? So
Yes.
we got Brick City in the building. Alethea just got off a plane from somewhere, probably getting ready to jump back on the plane to go somewhere else. And okay, she headed back north of the border. That is.
Okay.
What's going on? What's happening in Brick City?
And you know what, sis? Alethea, I got my pimping positivity. I got it, sis. And look, you know what? Actually, sis, wait, hold up. Look, I got the bracelet on, sis. I got it. Look, I got my God bracelet on and my pimping positivity. The shirt is beautiful. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes. So I've been at a meeting tonight, so things are wrapping up. I just want to introduce you to a couple of sisters that I met while I was here, and they are phenomenal sisters. We got Dr. T right here. Say what's up, sis.
What up, Doc?
Hey everyone. Hi, hello, how are you?
Good.
Yeah, nice to meet you all.
Yes,
Thank you all for having us on this platform.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
So
So what do they do? What do they do? What do they do? What do they
Tell them
do?
what you do, sis.
I'm an educator in Newark. I teach ELA. I also have a background in teaching humanities. I work for an environmental nonprofit. I work in portfolio management. So dealing with finances and seeing how money comes through nonprofit organizations and allocating funds.
Sis, we need both of y'all on to speak to the people because our people need more knowledge, especially about the flow of finances with nonprofits. A lot of folks out there raggedy as the day is long. Now, I'm just gonna call it what it is. They found out with them PPP loans how raggedy they were, and they thought it was a game. They still putting folks in bracelets. Nice looking, not these type bracelets, but nice looking. Oh, excuse me, where am I going?
So what are your thoughts on what is going on with the Department of Education, being that you are an educator, and how is it affecting things where you live?
As of now, I haven't seen like a major impact, at least an impact that is like pivotal to like my student success or lack thereof. However, I feel like a lot of what Trump is doing mirrors what Ronald Reagan did in like the late 70s, early 80s. And so I don't think this is new to the Black experience. And also, like, I feel like I anticipated this because we just had another major civil rights movement post George Floyd's murder. And I feel like whenever Black people, Black America, come together and decides like we're not taking this nonsense anymore, other minority groups try to benefit off of it, which is fine. Like they always say, if Black people ain't free, nobody else is gonna be free. If we free, y'all gonna be free because we're at the bottom of the social hierarchy. And so I just feel like this is just a race issue. We know racism. We built this country. This is not a shocker. Our ancestors been through so much worse in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. Our predecessors have been through so much worse, and like we just have to come together and realize and be just as strong as they were and understand how the larger monster here, colonialism, works. Right? Colonialism is a monster, and racism is just a byproduct. The Department of Education is like a small fry within that. And these schools that are built in this country, especially post desegregation, most of them are not for Black kids anyway. So like, it's not going to really change the data. Like these kids are like the curriculum doesn't mandate students knowing about being cognizant of Black history or being cognizant of anything about being Black.
I call the new school system the educational employee plantation, because literally what they take our children through is a process to either do this. You're going to be a good employee to help my child wind up acquire all their wealth and riches, or you're going to be a good entertainer where my child, who owns the record company, the distribution company, and owns all the arenas that you will perform in, will literally get rich off your talent. Or you're going to be a great runner, athlete, ball catcher, where my child, who owns the team, who writes the check. I always tell people, we always were talked about Mike, but does anybody know who signed Michael's check? Because Michael was getting his check signed too. You know, who was the owner of the Bulls? I always challenge folks with that all the time. I say, you know, y'all always talk about Mike. Do you know who was the owner of the Bulls when Michael Jordan was doing all that great Michael Jordan stuff? And most folks say, no, that was the guy who was writing the real checks because he was getting the real money. And don't get me wrong, Michael acquired wealth, but we have to start leaving blueprints where we can become owners, not just employees. Don't get me wrong. We all have a place, a time, and a set season for certain things, but we have to get to a place where we say we can be more. You may have started, you know, like I always tell people, there's nothing wrong with starting in the cotton field. Just have the aspiration of owning the whole plantation one day.
That's right.
You better tell it, JoJo. You better tell it, JoJo.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So now, like right now, I know in Brick City in New Jersey, and big ups to Cory Booker. I know some folks feel some type of way about Cory when it comes down to Newark, but big ups for him standing on that floor saying what he said for we the people. And that's where I think folks need to start getting back to, we the people. Like I tell people, I'm not really Republican or Democrat. I do lean more toward the Democrats because I need a do-right people. I need folks who are going to bring forth legislation that I can see a transformation in my community.
Yeah.
You know, not laws that will lock up more Black and brown kids. Now, hold on. where we as Black and brown parents need to give some accountability for what little Jane and Johnny did. Because if little Jane and Johnny are out there causing all kind of malice, we can't, when somebody finally puts little Jane and Johnny in check, and 9 out of 10 times they're put in check by other little Janes and Johnnies who got just a gun like
That's
they got.
right. That's right. But you know what's so unfortunate, Joe? Even if we did have a do right party, it's still gonna be a bunch of jokers that ain't gonna do right. It's
Right.
almost like becoming a mother or a father. Just because you become a mother or father does not mean you're automatically gonna do right. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? So we just have to, like I always say, we got to govern our households and govern ourselves and how we move, right? Because we can't count on anybody else to do it for us.
And that's why we shouldn't really be so fixated on Trump. Trump is not the first white non-white supremacist in office. Like,
That's right.
why are we allowing him to invoke some type of like mass hysteria? We've been through way worse. The point is that if we are situated and grounded in our own institutions, it doesn't make a difference. I like to sometimes think about communities that have experienced oppression, like the Jewish community. You don't really hear Chinese or Jewish people thinking about the Department of Education. They're not sending their children to these public schools anyway. They're at their own private schools learning Mandarin, learning Yiddish, learning Hebrew. Why are we giving white people so much power? We need to disempower them. I don't care about Trump. I don't want to hear his name. I don't
Right.
care. He's not the first white racist guy. We had white.
We got many more
we had-
races going to come after him.
we had white presidents who owned slaves. Like,
Absolutely.
why are we making it? The issue is now, and this is maybe my opinion based on the data that I've seen. The U.S. Census Bureau says by the year 2042, at the latest 2050, the United States, for the first time in American history, will no longer be a country that is majority white. White people will become a minority.
Absolutely.
This is what drives the Republican Party to attack the LGBTQIA plus community. They need white women to have more white babies, which means white women should not be lesbians. White women should not be misogynated, which means they shouldn't be having babies with non-white men.
Correct.
Even out the group chat, your population is at risk. I can't have a white baby. I don't got nothing to do with what you're talking about. Because even if I wanted to have a white baby, I can't do it.
That's right.
That's not what I reproduce. And so,
Go ahead, sis.
that's really what it's about. It's about preserving and saving the white population to be the majority.
Exactly.
White,
And,
go ahead.
and that's exactly why they put most of the Planned Parenthoods and stuff in our community.
Then our communities, because you don't know how to do it. The Jewish people, the Jewish people
So-
that run it though.
So,
right?
so what I'm loving
So
it,
they
and
don't
what,
have any Planned Parenthoods in the Jewish community, right? They have
Yes.
all of their babies and they have their system.
Exactly.
They use the system and they get married in their own community,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Where they're able to follow their rules
Yep.
and they still use the system to their advantage,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
But then when we do it, we're looked upon as like, oh
Exactly.
no.
Yes.
The whole goal is for us to exterminate our own lineage, right?
That part.
Absolutely.
But we're not doing it. It's white
Yeah.
women who are getting abortions,
Mhm.
identifying as queer, identifying in these interracial like marriages and having these mixed babies, and they're not producing white babies.
Mhm. But the part where we mess up is we're too busy with the hot girl summer that we lose focus, right?
Yes.
So now when we're having babies by a bunch of different brothers, and now that a house divided cannot stand.
Absolutely.
So now if we have our babies all spread around amongst different people,
That doesn't work
we don't
either for
have
us.
we don't
That
have
don't work
one
for us.
solid core of a family
Money's
structure
being
or a
spent
family
in
unit.
50
Money-
different places,
money's being
right?
spent in
And that
50
doesn't
Right.
work much, right?
So-
It happens
so-
to you
so
for
we
the
don't have- we don't
five or
have
six
a-
different households,
Exactly.
right?
right.
right.
We don't
Also,
have a
that
good,
dilutes
we
the
don't have a
black
good
vote.
understanding of black economics. See, we don't understand. See, once again, we don't understand wealth accumulation and wealth protection.
Yes.
See, that's
yes.
why, watch this. And let's just be honest. Most black individuals, black and brown folks, male or female, when the elder dies, the elder leaves them debt. That's why
right.
we have to have fish
Absolutely.
dinners
and
and
the tore up
chicken.
house, Joe.
Right. Hold it.
Hold on.
I'm ringing bells. So, because why? Because we don't
A
know
bunch of
how.
bold crap.
Right. Hold it.
Like, so
Here,
we just
you know,
trying
I
to
tell
get-
folks, I tell folks this all the time. I tell my daughters this. If you want to know how much a man cares for you, not that he puts a baby in your belly. The question is, did he put a life insurance policy on himself?
Absolutely.
That should his untimely death comes to pass, are you covered and is that child covered? Because guess what? If you know how to do it right, you can literally leave millions
All
to
right.
your
Hello.
future generations for pennies on the dollars. That's what they've been doing.
That's
See,
what they've been
Hello.
doing, yo.
we don't share that info. First of all, here's the sad thing about most black and brown folks, especially black. So let me raise my hand and talk about us black and brown men. Most of us black and brown men, like myself, and let me quantify this. We come from broken situations. Okay. And we come from a psychological mental health place of, I saw this done to my mama. And since it was done to my mama, guess what? It ain't, if I do it, I don't want to do it, but if I do it, my justification is, hey, it was done to my mama.
Yep.
And then we place, sadly, in black and brown communities, we place more weight on the mama than we do the daddy.
Absolutely.
In most cases, we place much more weight on the mama than we do the daddy.
Yep.
You know, it's mama's baby, daddy's maybe. So watch this. So watch this. We don't show a lot of love to black men, and most black men don't see a man to be a man. They get their manhood from individuals who don't know nothing about a black man being a man. See, because we go back to the Willie Lynch letters, where to be a man, you got to be brotherly and you got to be planting your seed on all this fertile ground. The more babies you make, the more a man you are. Well, that ain't the truth. See, planting a bunch of seeds in a bunch of fertile ground don't make you a man. What makes you a man is, can you raise the crop? Can you hold on? Oh, let me get country on some of these folks, because I am from the great state of Tennessee. Can you raise the crop? Can you fertilize the crop? Can you take the weeds? Can you make sure none of the predators come and take the crop? Can you bring the crop from the time you plant it to the time that it needs to be harvested? And then can you put yourself in a position that not only do you do it and do it right, that you take what you've learned and you pass it on to other individuals that they replicate and do the same. See, our problem is I want to win. I just don't want to see you win. I want to do good. I just don't want to see you do better than me. We got to stop that. Like I made clearly, the reason Jax is outstanding in what she does, and I can't touch her in no shape, form, or fashion in what she does. Sister Alethea is a monster in what she does. I see that you two sisters are a beast in what you do. And instead of me sitting there with this type of face, look at them, they know a lot. I should be sitting here like a sponge saying, sis, talk to me. Tell me, how did you get to where you got to, and how can you help me get there? And if you can't help me get there, how can we spread this word that maybe somebody else can get there? Because I'm like Martin Luther King, I might not see the promised land. But I tell you this, I want to see all y'all get there.
Yep. All right. That's what we.
And I think the other issue is that Black women recognize that we are at the bottom of the social hierarchy, right? In the lens of the social hierarchy, you have men and women. Men are at the top, women at the bottom. But your proximity to whiteness makes you more valuable in this society. And I feel like it almost pushes Black women to be so desperate for love at any cost. And we have to take accountability. We see men with multiple baby mothers who are low vibrational. We still decide to entertain a situation to bring a baby out of it. You have to take accountability for your own discernment or lack thereof. You have to take accountability of your own PUSSY management or lack thereof.
Ooh.
No one put a gun to your head. Unless we're talking about non-consensual sex. We have to stop being so desperate for love because the world tells us we're not worth being loved. We're not worthy of being the best or deserving the best. We have to deal with our own internal trauma and our own internal conflict. And once we do that, we will attract the light that we need. It's okay to make mistakes, but you can't be one guy, two guy, 3, 4, 5 guys, baby daddy's in, and you're still blaming men. When do you actually start to look in the mirror at the person who's attracting
right?
Sister Alethea, you wanted
with these men?
Sister Alethea, go ahead and speak on it, sis. I saw you were chomping at the bit. Go on, do your thing.
It's two things that I've noticed in this day and age, especially with us. The norm is we'd rather show money than grow money.
We
want to buy all the like fancy cars and look what I have. How you have a Benz and you pulling up to the projects.
Oh,
Make it
Oh.
make sense. Make it make
Yeah.
sense. Make it
Like
make
how you
sense.
and I'm just gonna be real. Like the norm is whenever we do grow something, we do have something. You want to gatekeep. Why?
Yeah.
That's
Mm.
my biggest problem with a lot
Why
of
are
our
we
people.
gatekeeping?
I always try to put people in
So,
every
so,
single thing.
That's right.
No matter, even if I'm not doing it, I'm like, oh wait, I know somebody
yes,
else.
Hold on, hold on.
yes.
And let me
That's
just and
always
let
been
me
my biggest
and let me
problem
hold on,
in
ladies.
my
Hold
whole
on.
life.
Hold on for 1 second. Let me throw it to Shine for a minute because I do want it to speak for men because I made my share of mistakes too. As a man, as a 57-year-old man, my oldest child is
See, but we can
as
respect that though. We can respect
oh
that.
hold it. As a 57-year-old man, my oldest child is 37 years old, officer in the Navy. He is also he is not he is I don't because Alex might jump on here this time of night where he's at right now, but I don't want him to be offended by this because he checked me one time as his father. He said, "Dad, I ain't mixed. I'm a human being. You and my mama laid down and made a child." And he said, I am a man. He said, address me as such. And I said, ooh. I said, you got a good point there, son. I said that's real talk. But let me say this. Us kings have terribly failed you queens. Us
Great, I like
kings
this.
have terribly failed you queens. And here's why we failed you. And I even go back to the beginning of God's word in the Bible. It was a failing from this positioning. Our job was to cover and to put you in a position where you were in a place of safety. But we got caught up too busy trying to tend the garden that we didn't know in our leaving you alone, it opened up you to be vulnerable to conversation that if we had covered you correctly, you may now have never partaken in. So sometimes as a man, you have to ask yourself, is the reason this snake in my woman's ear is because I'm not around myself to cover her enough that she doesn't even want to hear ill conversation because I'm too close to her. I'm too close. See, that's the problem with most men. Most men don't want to, we always want to talk about, oh, you evil women. And don't get me wrong. Sometimes we all do things that we need to take accountability for. But us men have to start asking ourselves, to be a king, you have to be a king, present yourself as a king, and then raise your hand when you make a mistake, because nobody's perfect, but then position yourself that you stop making those mistakes. Speaking about a king, King Burnell, I see you, brother. I see you, my
That's
friend.
right.
What
That's my
happening?
king.
So,
That's
Sean,
my
talk to
king.
me. Sean, I need you to talk because I know you read a lot of books.
Yeah.
You have got me back to reading. Just talk to me, man. I mean, us brothers, we got to
Yeah.
wake up.
I mean, from what you're saying, man, heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? Heavy is the head, man. So, as guys, unfortunately, a lot of us was just, I want to say, having a trial run in our early relationship. We didn't really have the blueprint. We didn't really have a template. So I know for myself personally, I apologize to my previous relationships all the time. Like, man, I was just, throw it to the wall and see what stick, like they say. I did what I thought was right. I did what I assumed was right.
Sean, let's call it what they used to tell us when we were young. We were young, dumb, and full of cum. That's what we were. Let's call it what it is. I ain't cutting corners tonight. I'm talking just, listen, I was so upset with not knowing how to love. All I could do was give what I was given. And most of the time, most of us, the reason we love the way we love is because our mothers didn't love us correctly. I got to call it like it is. And because you already wounded and damaged goods from the womb. You wounded and damaged from the womb. Ask yourself, I say this all the time. How many times did a mother sit there and read to you while you were in the womb? How many times did the mother speak positive affirmations over you in the womb? Most of the time when I sit around women and they pregnant by somebody they don't like, guess what they doing? Spewing all kind of hot mess. And not understanding the baby in the womb begins to incorporate what you saying.
Joe, you know, it's so funny you say that because those sisters that I just had on the show, right? We were sitting down in a different meeting. My husband, my daughter, and I were in a different meeting, and they observed me and my daughter, and they said how much we look just alike, right? And so then, you know, we just had great conversation, and they said, "How did you raise such a girl like this?" Right? So I took them back to when Olivia was a baby. When Olivia was a baby, I would take her to church in a car seat. and she was 2-3 months old, and I would be doing flashcards with her, and people would tease me and say, girl, she can't even see yet, she can't even read yet, because she's 2-3 months old. But I said, it's all right. I said, this week we starting out with the letter A for apple. And I just kept it going. So I've always instilled education and positivity within my children, and as they grow, I'm seeing the fruits of my labor. And that's what it is. Like you said, read to them when they're in the womb. Read to them, play positive music. We had all type of Carmen McRae, Ella Fitzgerald, all type of music playing to my belly when I was pregnant with my children, and it's just still so important to speak life. And like Sean always talks about, reading books, pimping positivity, being positive, when you're raising these kids, because they sense your disdain, they sense your, if you're upset, they feel your energy, it crosses through the placenta, and they feel everything, all your vibrations, they feel it, so we definitely got to speak life and do better as parents to
And
our children, men and women.
People do not think that is a real thing. My oldest son, so when you have your like first child, you want to do everything right. I played like classical music to my belly the whole 9 months, because I was told that would increase their like mathematical skills. My oldest son, so smart in math and science, and I know that played such a huge part in it, because I started him from the womb.
So wait a minute, ladies. We're talking about being an active parent. What it sound like? What I'm hearing?
Yes.
So we had
not just making them, but raising them. Not just
Yeah.
making them, but not the joyful part, but raising.
We had a conversation weeks ago on a Friday, I believe, about like, the education system in the school, and we was talking about like people that come to the school with the little bonnets on and all that. It was a big old debate about that. But the actual point of the conversation was about active parents. Being an active parent, coming to the school, going to the meeting, going to parent-teacher conference, asking about your child well-being in the classroom. That was the real point for that conversation. It wasn't about the bonnet itself. It was about a certain mentality to go along with that. That was the conversation.
Sean, and what
That's right.
folks didn't miss was, if you show up to the school and you're in a bonnet, you're in your house robe, but you're concerned about your child, I'll ring the bell and give you a round of applause. But if you just dropping your kids off like it is the place that you need to get rid of your children. See, we got to start calling spades a spade in our community. See, folks get mad. Oh, so you talking about folks with house shoes and bonnets and slippers on. Hey, if that's how you had to come, but you're concerned about your child's well-being, I applaud you. But if you came like that because you don't give a damn, and you don't give a damn about the child, and you just trying to get the child out the house, because what you really got to do, you got old boy coming in to lay that long pipe to you. Come on, stop. We got to stop that. See, we got to stop that, and we got to wake up. Because I ain't playing no more.
It doesn't matter how I show up. It's that I show up. It doesn't matter how I show up. It's that I'm showing up. And I will keep showing up because you don't know that I may be in my bonnet because I just worked a 12-hour shift, but I'm still showing up, tired as hell. I'm showing up.
Right. And you might be the only parent that can show up. Daddy might be incarcerated. Daddy might not be involved. There might see, we got to stop putting these stereotypes on folks. But then we do have to, and watch this. I got to say something that's going to hurt a lot of folks. See, our problem is we don't want to address the behavior that has us in the position that we're in. Oh, we want to tie around the behavior. Hold up. Guess what? Little Johnny ain't going to come in my classroom, cuss me out, stand up at 6'6" and think for 1 minute I ain't going to look at him and say, you know what? If I put my hands on, hold up, little Johnny, you're going to sit your ass down and you're going to learn today. You're going to see. But the problem is, as soon as little Johnny jumps up and find out that old man Joe got hands, then the first thing y'all say, he should have never put his hands on little Johnny. No, you should have never had your child thinking that he has the right or the mitigated gall to speak to me as if I am his equal, because I'm not.
That's right.
I got a
I'm
And look,
question.
Joe, look right here, Dr. T. You know what she just said? She just said that the school has put a mandate so that parents cannot come in the school with the bonnets on and all of this other nonsense. And her friend was just saying how she
Your
makes
school
them
is the school, sis.
like yeah, look, her friend said that they give them ed control and jail.
Be supposed to. She'll buy them all the necessities that they need to make sure that they come inside, and when they present themselves as young lady, right? Whether it's edges or gel or whatever it is to make themselves look a bit more presentable. That's what she does for them. And I always say, you go
Hey,
ahead.
and sis,
Yeah, I'm
I
so proud.
applaud you with that because one of the things that I did, I used to be the chief of minority affairs here in the municipality that I live in. And I sit down with a young lady, a young Asiatic lady. She was from Asia. And she did something that touched my heart. She said, Mr. Joe, we have to do a project to put menstrual products in these high schools because there are individuals. And when she said that, it touched my heart. I said, oh, hold up, sis. You rich. You living in the most prominent part of town. You go into one of the most prominent schools. And she said, no, this needs to be in every school. See, you have to understand this. Until we start taking care of the least of us, from the point of view that could have been us, we're going to keep on going around this hamster wheel. And all we doing is talking loud and saying nothing. You know what? I ain't here for click, like, and share. I'm here to bring about a change because it's time for us to wake up.
That's right. And Joe, that's why it's so important for us to understand the true difference between involvement and engagement. Right? You could be involved in your child's life and drop them off at school and, take them there and have your bonnet on and have your wave cap, whatever the hell you want to have on. But when you switch it to engagement, that's the key. Engagement. You have to be engaged. It has to be a reciprocal conversation and engagement with that child, not just being involved in their lives. So we have to step it up. And it's not wrong with us stepping it up, but we have to really understand what the difference is so that we could then be better equipped and more engaged to help our children to become more engaged in the society that we live in.
And if
Hey
I may
Joe, I had a
add,
Talk to me. Talk
like
to me.
just being cognizant of the fact that a lot of professionalism and what it means to look professional is rooted in Eurocentricity. Um, just backing away for that, what does that look like, right? Natural hair, especially for African American women, like with deeper textures, heading towards four textures, category textures. It's like those products are expensive. We were not taught in this country to love our natural hair. It is not easy to love your natural hair. It's not easy to know how to style it.
Absolutely.
Your hair is your crown. So when you don't feel like your hair looks nice, you won't be proud to come out, especially in an urban neighborhood where like
They full of jokes.
they're full
Yeah.
of jokes.
How could you?
Oh yeah, we can be the most heinous.
Yeah.
We can be the most heinous folks when it comes down to coming at one another. Listen,
It's
listen.
not
We
easy. I
know
can't even
how to
bring my
tear.
own kids here.
Hey, we know how to tear each other down. We know how to come at each other and say stuff that you be like, child, if I can get my hands on you, but see, here's what we need to do, in my humble opinion. This is just my opinion.
Mm.
We have so much talent within our community that are being used, misused, and appropriated completely in the wrong manner. And if we could really, like I tell folks, if we could really figure out a way to come together, put this HNIC syndrome to the corner, and understand this: if one of us win, we all win.
Absolutely.
And just because you are better than me doesn't mean that I can't find my own lane to win in. Because some things I ain't meant to do. I ain't meant to be a brain surgeon. So if you better at nuclear biology and certain mathematics that I'm not, that's your gift. And I should support you in your gift, not hate you in your gift. And we got to get this hateration off of us because don't nobody hate black folks more than black folks.
The number one thing.
Hey Joe, I had a question.
Go ahead,
Well,
sir.
we got the ladies here. What's your thoughts about lately the conversation about the lack of black males in college, the lack of black males in the universities and things of that nature? What's your ideas about that topic, and how can we change that narrative? Is my question.
I would say one of them, Sean, before the sisters hop in. I would say as parents, we need to encourage that level of excellence. Now, you could go to a trade school and still be just as excellent, right? Because we know plumbers, electricians, they come out making more money sometimes when they put the pedal to the metal than doctors. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But what we have to do is stop always encouraging little Tyrone to throw that damn football or dribble that basketball. We have to encourage Tyrone to get on, to work hard, right? to get on honor roll. And guess what? If Tyrone has some intellectual challenges where he's having a difficult time getting on honor roll, there's some other things that he could do to still at least work hard, get involved in the community, be civically engaged. It's not all about just throwing the ball. So that's something that we really have to, force upon our children a little bit more and not be afraid. We understand everybody comes to the table with different, mental challenges and, intellectual, challenges and deficits, but it's all right. We have to encourage them and say, it's all right, bro. Let's get you a tutor. Instead of me buying you them $250 Jordans, you know what I'm saying? Let me spend $250 and take you to Kumon, the Sylvan Learning Center, or Mathnasium or someplace else.
And we got to start speaking truth to truth. So let me say something that's going to really mess your head up. This is one thing that's really getting me. I sit down, and Jax knows I've been on a very long spiritual journey. And I sit down and I begin to read and process some things. And some things we are being told in these places of worship are not true. They sound good, but they're not true. And so I ask myself, how is it that I, in a place that I'm supposed to be safe and sound under the covering of believing that I'm in a place where God can get me somewhere, if I'm being fed something that's not the truth? So I encourage folks for themselves to pick up this word. Let me grab my word here. Let me grab it and let y'all know I ain't playing with y'all. I'm being for real. Because the problem with a lot of us is we don't mind being fed the word. We just don't want to read it for ourselves. And you got to start reading it for yourself and asking for your own spiritual awakening to position yourself to get an understanding what's inside here. Because it's one thing for a man to tell you, because I can give you a fish and you'll eat today. I can teach you how to fish and you'll eat for the rest of your life. Begin to fish in this word and eat for the rest of your life instead of accepting the food that is being served to you, because some of it is not being served in truth. It's not. And we just got to do better about that, because guess what? We've got to understand that this is just a bigger fight than the fight you know. And to the sisters that were there, hey, much love to y'all. Y'all be safe. Be careful out there in them streets.
Thank you so much for having us on here.
It's all good.
Appreciate it. We look forward to coming back on here and communicating with you all.
Oh, you'll be back. You'll be back. If Jax got a test, bring them back. Bring them back. Bring them back.
This little one got so much to say. When I asked her if she wanted to be on, she was like, "Oh no, I don't public speak."
I'm so shy, but it's like, no, you gotta start talking. Like, wait, they talking about what I be talking about.
Yes,
You lie.
Yes, thank you all so much.
And help mobilize our own institutions, so we don't got to worry about an orange man eating chocolate.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And look, JoJo, look who else on the scene. Look.
Little Miss headed to Spelman. Huh? What you know about the ATL, shouted? What you know about that ATL, shouted? Somebody headed to the Spelman. Somebody headed over there to Spelman College. Go on now. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Bye, bye.
But Joe,
So, yeah, talk to me, Sean. Talk to me.
my mom was just telling me Friday how here in Louisiana, they was trying to pass this thing to put $70-something million into building a brand new juvenile detention center. I'm like, they're gonna put $70 million on more policing and incarceration versus $70 million in education, versus $70 million in after school programs, $70 million in other kind of resources.
So Sean, once again, and mind you, I work in the criminal justice system. Sadly, I don't see enough Black and brown folks working in the criminal justice system. When you look at the criminal justice system, you see more Black and brown folks incarcerated. And that's sad. We've got to understand that once again, until we address the behavior, we didn't get like this overnight. We have not addressed the behavior that makes it that we can't talk to one another, Sean, Alethea, and Jax. That when something is said that offends one of us, we all of a sudden want to go in this Tasmanian devil mode and start spinning around going, I got to get them. No, you don't. Okay, they said something that you did not like, that you did not agree with. They said something that and put you on a page. It doesn't have to put you in Tasmanian devil mode, because guess what? All we're doing is killing one another. It ceases to amaze me how a black person will call your job, try to make it that you lose your job, but then be the first one to call you if a white person try to come after them after their job. But won't call, but the white man can literally almost call them a nigger on the job, and they won't one time say, man, I might need to call somebody and tell them this dude almost called me a nigger. Or the white man can tap them on the ass, sexual harass them. They don't want to call that. But guess what? You say good morning and wink and just, good morning, baby. Oh, he want my panties. No, I don't. That's how some folks speak around here. Hold on. But no, all of a sudden you see, it ceases to amaze me how all of a sudden we turn into King Kong when it comes down to going against one another. But when it comes down going against the white man, we walking around looking like Ratatouille.
But that's why I wanted to show that whole connection. I wanted to show that connection between the lack of black males in college conversation and like the amount of black males incarcerated. There's a correlation.
Right.
These two they went there where we at. That's where we at. At an alarming rate. That's where we at.
Right. And it's sad because, and don't get me wrong, let's address this how it needs to really be addressed. We have to understand, until we address the behavior that has positioned us as black men to do some of these egregious crimes that we do, until we come up with a resolution for the behavior and places that we can get healed and whole from this disease that we have inherited, it's always going to be like this. Because here's the sad thing.
What's even more sad.
Come on, Sister Alethea, speak to me.
That in some cases, you can get a better education in jail than you can outside of jail. That is what is really sad, that I can educate myself. And it's not just because I have all this time on my hands. It's that like they have the like books and the like you can be trained to be somebody in jail, but we don't get that same education outside of jail.
And it's sad how we make jail seem so appealing and appeasing. You know, right now you can go on Twitter and type in jail videos, and you will see young incarcerated black men lifting weights, dancing, having fun. Okay, they show you they make jail look like Disneyland. They make jail look like Disneyland. Like, come on to jail. You don't have to worry. We get three hot meals. They don't tell you the bad things that happen in jail. They try to make it seem like if you come to jail, and most of the times when most black men go to jail, it's a family reunion because their brother in jail, their uncle in jail, some of them daddy in jail, some of their granddaddies in jail. I have literally in this system sit down and saw a grandfather, a father, and a son all in the same jail at the same time.
That's right. There's something fundamentally wrong, Joe. And you know, when you even look at the bigger picture and span it out, if you have somebody that's locked up, how many of the family members are trying to put money on their books, right? But when it comes time to another child in the family that's going to college or trying to start a business, how many of them are saying, you know what, let me give this baby $150 so that he could, he or she could, pay for a book or get a meal while they're in college. But instead, they'll pay for some old dusty guys or girls sitting there locked up, pay for them to eat, pay for them to have commissary and clothes and
our priorities is all messed up, Jax.
Yep.
Listen, our priorities is all messed up. We will literally tell our daughters, some of us, not all of us.
Yep.
Some of us will literally tell our daughters, don't you date that nerd, date the dope dealer because he's gonna help pay these bills.
Listen,
Alethea.
My God, yes.
Yep.
Like what? Yes.
Come on, man.
Priorities.
No, like
Come on, man.
You are not lying. Like I've literally heard this. Oh, you gonna date him? He a little loser, but you want your daughter to date the dope dealer's son because you think that that's gonna bring money into y'all house.
Trust me.
You ain't even worried about her. You're
Yes.
worried about what you can also get, how you can benefit from your daughter. So basically, is that not called pimping your daughter out?
Oh, you
Trust
pimping.
me.
It's
Trust
straight
me.
prostitution.
So
Straight
Joe,
prostitution.
you said you had me here for the books, right? You had me here for
Talk
the
to me.
book. That's why
Talk
I'm
to
here.
me. Talk
So
to me
as a
now.
guy
Talk to
that
me.
read books all the time, and my friends read books, a lot of ladies, they act like they want a guy that read books. That sounds real cute. Until it's time to actually do it, and it's highly frowned upon. They
That's
want the
right.
other guy.
Until time to read a book, right, Sean? They want
They
a
want,
brother
they want,
that wants to read
but
until you say,
because,
"Come on, baby, let's read this book
yeah,
together."
our society has upheld those other kind of guys to where it's highly frowned upon to be intelligent and to talk a certain way and to go to a coffee shop and read some book. That's lame. That's lame behavior. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying? You
you
got
know
you
what,
got an
Sean?
actual plan. You got a
Yeah,
journal. You actually writing. That all
yeah.
sound like, man. That's you,
But
you ain't going to
but
you ain't going to
Sean,
the hookah lounge tonight. You ain't going to hit the hookah.
but
You ain't
Sean,
going to the club.
but let me tell you why. My whole entire life, and that's why some people don't think that I'm from here. My whole entire life, like I had to almost change the way I talked. I had to change the way I spoke because I would get teased by my own people saying that I talk white.
Mm.
What is that?
No,
What is that?
I was
That's what I
speaking
want to know. What is that?
proper English, and because I didn't use slang and whatever, I was talking white.
We
Mm.
all speaking this bastardized
Bully
language, man.
and
But
bully
Right?
because I was smart.
but Alethea, the problem is, sadly, we don't know from whence we came. And because we don't know from whence we came, and most of us believe that our conception started in the cotton fields and the plantation of this country, not knowing that we come from a long lineage of kings and queens. You got to understand, a lot of folks don't tell you that literally it was a sister. It was a sister that when the Roman army showed up in Eden, and it wasn't Cleopatra, there was a sister long before Cleopatra that said, "Look, partner, you will not invade my land. You will not invade my land." She lost her eye in battle because
Yeah,
she said, and guess what? The Romans said, "Oh, we can't mess with these folks." See, we have been given
Queen Nzinga.
a Zinga, Queen
Come on now.
Nzinga. So
Come on now.
folks need to look that up. See,
The real,
because
hey, Joe, the real woman king. The real woman
right.
king.
Come on. So we don't want to, and the thing about it is we don't want to hear about that because first of all, once again, let me go back to it because somebody gonna get it before the night's over. We don't want to address the behavior. See, first of all, I had to look my good self in the mirror one day and say, Joe, your mama and your daddy did the best they could,
Yes.
but it wasn't good enough. And they taught you some stuff that put you in a place that messed you up. And because you were damaged goods from the womb, you've got to address this behavior. You've got to get to a place that you heal and whole before you move forward. See, that's the problem. A lot of you trying to love folks, you don't love yourself. A lot of
But
you
look,
trying
Joe,
to fix folks and you ain't fixed yourself. A lot of
look
you
what,
want to talk about folks, but you can't talk about yourself. See, the problem is it's good for you to spit it out, but you can't look yourself in the mirror and say, self, you know what? I'm a hoe and I need to stop this.
That's
See,
right.
you can't say that, but you can point at everybody else and call them a hoe. You can't look at yourself in the mirror and say, self, you know, I'm a liar. But see, here's the sad thing. We got hoes and liars that are politicians, bankers, lawyers, teachers, judges,
pastors,
people in high places doing
pastors,
big things.
pastors.
Right, pastors' wives. Hold up, hold it. Ain't nobody exempt in this thing.
Nobody.
We got folk out here. Here's the problem.
It's a whole
It's
oasis.
it's a oasis. It's
It's a
easy
whole
for
oasis.
you to talk about everybody else. But guess what? If we could pull back the veil and see what's going on
Yeah.
behind closed doors with you over here living on Pornhub. You living in
But Joe,
OnlyFans.
Hmm.
but
That's
to my
right.
sister
But,
Alicia,
but
sister
let me
Alicia,
tell you why.
Wait, Alethea. Before you go, I just want to back up. Joe made a statement, but I just want to add some clarity to that, right? Because Joe said when he was in the womb, he was already damaged goods. I want you to know, JoJo, it wasn't nothing damaged about you.
okay.
Wasn't nothing damaged about you.
Oh, I
Wasn't-
recovered. Listen, I recovered.
right.
Hold it.
Yeah.
Now I'm man enough to say I look anybody in the face. I can speak about my mama. You can't speak about my mama.
That's right.
And hold it. But I'm man enough to know the following. The same thing that the men did to my mama, I done did it to some other young ladies who are mothers now too. So guess what? That generational curse, you got to break it and address the behavior.
Yes,
you got to say,
exactly.
guess what? It wasn't right that they did it to my mama, and it ain't right that I do it to somebody else, because all women are able of having a baby. That means you doing it to somebody's mama. So no, that you got to break the curse. You got to get to a place that you say, just because it happened to them don't mean I have the right to say, oh, it happened to my mama. So no. Guess what I tell people? If you wouldn't want it to be done to your mama, or you don't want it to be done to your daughter, then don't do it yourself to somebody else's mama or daughter.
That's right. That's right, though.
You know what? A lot of the reason that we cannot heal, and this is something that I found out, we can't heal because we keep going to the same people that made us sick.
That's right. Believe you better tell something.
So that is the same people that keep giving you medicine, and you wondering why you keep getting sick, because you're going by the same people that's feeding you all this nonsense, that's feeding you all this poison, that's feeding you all these toxins, and you wondering why you keep getting sick.
That's right. That's right.
Because you keep going there. That's like you going to the same mechanic because this is who always fixes my car, but every week stop break.
Yep. You're going to the locksmith for an oil change. You in the wrong spot, bro.
Yes.
Right. And see, here's the sad thing about it. And I see some people in here, like one person said, if I think I'm damaged, then he's damaged. It's not for you to decide. Well, hold on. Let me clarify my listen. I can only speak about Joe.
That's deep.
And I'm gonna say this real easy. I understand that there are some things I have to be smart enough, wise enough, and have enough of God's spirit in me to realize there are some things that have occurred in my life I had absolutely no control over.
That's right.
I didn't choose my mother. I didn't choose my father, nor did I choose the circumstances on which I was born and how I came into this world. Because whoever TSU is, understand this. On June the 22nd, 1967, I was birthed. The umbilical cord was cut with an old rusty butcher knife. I was wrapped in a newspaper in an old coat, and I was discarded underneath a house to die. So unless TSU, you went through that same thing, you may can understand some of my pain. Most children got slapped on their butt in a hospital, and a lot of folks were there looking in the mirror going, which one is mine? Going, ooh, they so cute. I was fighting for dear life as a newborn baby on June the 22nd, 1967. I wasn't found until 14 hours later, almost dead. So I was damaged in the womb and coming out the womb. I went through what most folks day one, they would not even have made it through day one. So I can speak about my situation because I've come to right standings of what has happened to me and what I had to do to accept that and to change my trajectory, because some of these curses that are on us are generational curses. I'm pretty sure if I go back through some of my lineage, somebody else got dealt with the same way I got dealt with, maybe in a different type of situation. If abandonment is in your family, you ain't the first one that got abandoned.
That's right.
And that spirit seems to linger on until you kill the spirit. And that's the problem. A lot of y'all don't want to kill nothing. Y'all want to tote it around like it's luggage. No, I ain't got a problem putting something in the grave and never seeing it again.
That's right. Joe, you know, it's so funny you say that, and that's so powerful. I was speaking to a lady the other day, right? And she was saying, don't be surprised, it's hoes in the family, right? And so then when I look back at the situation, the stories that I've heard over the years in certain situations, I'm like, dang, you ain't lying. The grandmama was a hoe, the auntie was a hoe, all the aunts was hoes, you know what I'm saying? And it could even be, you know, the other way, the dads was hoes, the sons was hoes, the grandpapa was a hoe. The same thing. And so when you really think about it, you are so right. We have to break those generational curses. And my comment to you saying that you're not damaged, I'm just thinking from a spiritual perspective.
I'm not no more. I'm not no more.
because God makes no mistakes, right?
Right,
Because
right.
if you was that damaged, God wouldn't have allowed that fetus to survive, to blossom into that child that you were. No matter what situation that she put you under, God had greater for your life. So we
And let
all
me
got to go through some sort of
and
trial,
and
and I'm
let me
so glad you overcame that,
and let
Joe.
me say this, Jax, because many a times in these conversations, that is what we leave out.
Yeah,
We leave the God out, and that's
that's
where we
right.
make our biggest mistake. Because
Exactly.
I would not be where I'm at today had it not been for His grace, His love, His mercy, His covering grace over me when
Right.
I couldn't even
Right.
cover myself. If it wasn't for God, see, that's our
Mhm.
problem. And then we want to quantify God by all this social media madness and mania. First of all, I don't see none of y'all complaining about Beyonce tickets. I don't see none of y'all complaining about Chris Brown tickets. But let Marvin Sapp come on and ask for $20. Y'all make it go viral and make it seem like the man asked for something he shouldn't have asked for. Hold on. I ain't seen Beyonce drop one ticket. To be exact, I can tell you right now, when she came to New Orleans, the cheapest ticket in the house to put you at the right hand of God was $550.
Oh my
That was
God.
the cheapest ticket in the house.
Wait,
And
you
guess
said the
what?
right hand of God?
Hold on. At the Superdome, there's a seat, and actually in the seat on the back of it, it is wrote the right hand of God, because in that seat you can't get no higher in the Superdome.
Yep.
So they call it the right hand of God, and that
That's
seat was
hilarious.
$550. So here's the thing: I tell people, you make time for what is important for you.
Mhm.
You spend money on what is important for you. That's why we got to address these behaviors. When folks tell me, "Oh, you don't love me," well, it's real easy.
Mhm.
Love is more than things. However, a person who does not show you that they love you, they really don't love you. And many a times your problem is you don't want to look yourself in the mirror and say, I done fell in love with the wrong person.
Mhm.
See,
Mhm.
that's what gets me. What gets me, folks will come in here and talk all this why, and this, that, these, and those. But hold up. It's easy for you to talk about somebody, especially like women. For example, I'm not a woman, but watch this. I've never had an abortion.
Mhm.
So you might be in here talking how you know, but if you done had 15, 20 abortions, but you talking about, oh, these sisters crazy, look at all them kids. Well, the reason you ain't got 15, 20 kids is because you done killed 15, 20 kids.
You
Because
better
if you
tell
had
it,
went
Joe.
ahead and had the kids, you'd be sitting around here with 15, 20 kids. But no, you laid and then you laid and you truly slayed. You said, oh,
That's right.
yeah. So stop that. Sometimes
Mhm.
you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, I can't talk about them. The difference between them and me is they decided not to kill their child. They decided
Yeah.
to go ahead and have the child. And sometimes
Yeah.
you just got to wake up and say to yourself, let me stop looking at everybody else and look at myself and get myself together. Because I got too much limited time on this dimension to be trying to fix everybody else. Because if I fix myself and get my house in order, that's one less house.
That's
That's
right.
one less house that I got to fight against. That's
You're
one less
right.
house that I got to be worried about the people in that house trying to get me for mine, because they too busy trying to get themselves in order. Go ahead.
That's right.
Well,
That's
go
right.
ahead,
And
Jay.
you know
I'll
what,
get
Joe,
ready to go.
and that's what it's about. It's about true accountability. And when you could look at a situation like that, as opposed to judging somebody with 1,000, kids or whatever, think about the 1,000 kids that you potentially slayed, right? And think of all the souls that you took into your body that you so easily
Yeah.
discarded. So we definitely have to be cognizant of that. And I mean, it's just like this: when you have these young girls and young boys having sex, nobody really knows a lot of them are having sex until you get pregnant. Now everybody know you was having sex. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't mean the girl that or the boy that didn't get somebody pregnant or didn't get pregnant are not just as guilty of that same sin. Right? You just didn't get caught. So we definitely have to, be more objective and sit back and really look at the situation. And before you judge all up on everybody else's situation, we got to say, you know what, I done killed a bunch of them. So who am I to
Right.
say why he or she have a whole bunch of baby daddies or baby mamas?
You got to stop this double standards amongst men and women. That's another thing.
Yes.
We got to stop applauding these young boys when they got a body count that's high, but then we want to talk about the girls if they done slept with 3 different dudes. That's wrong.
Right.
Facts.
That's
'Cause
wrong. That's wrong. We got to stop that. This double standard we got. We got to stop this. Hold it. Watch this. We got to stop this double standard of keep on doing this, because watch this. Power of life and death lies in your tongue. We got to stop telling all these girls, look at how smart y'all are. And look at these dumb boys. What boy, these boys are dumb. Then you start sitting here like Sean. Well, why ain't these boys going to college? Because every day y'all tell them they dumb. And
Yep.
sooner or later, guess what? You become what you start being fed. If every day you hear it's hard to fight when folks are telling you ain't never gonna be nothing.
Yeah.
Your sister
Yeah.
smart, you dumb as bricks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you keep on telling me I'm dumb, guess what? Well,
Yeah.
maybe I am dumb. See,
Yeah.
we got to stop this double standard
Plant
because
that seed. Mm-hmm.
here's the thing. Every queen wants a king. But don't nobody knows what it takes to make a king, nor does some people even think what it takes to make a queen. So here's
right.
the thing. Everybody wants the best, but don't nobody want to put in the best work to get the best.
Who you telling, Joe?
And we
That's
got to
right.
stop that. We got to start
That's right.
saying to ourselves, guess what? This is going to take a little work. This is going to take a little time. This is going to take a little effort. Look, I got people on. Look, big ups to everybody who's on the gram. Boy, we got folks on Instagram. Long as the day is long. Listen,
Nice.
loving y'all. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this with a friend. We're going to pop on every once in a while. We're going to connect the dots. It is 36 minutes past the hour. I'm going to keep it flowing and going. But Sister Alethea, Sister Jax, I know Brother Sean had to go because, you know, we got JOBs and tomorrow we'll be here before you know it. But Sister Alethea, is there anything you want to discuss? I know we kind of jumped in here and went all over the place. But family, y'all got to wake up. These tariffs, these high grocery prices,
104% tariff in China. So I hope that whomever ordered from like Shein and Temu, y'all get your orders in before midnight, because after midnight, I'm about to click my cart right now. So make sure.
That's right. Click that card, girl. Click it.
After midnight, it will be one lump sum.
and okay, so with judgment, and I mean, this is I say what I want, but you can't judge me because I had my kids and you swallowed yours. Like we can't.
Right.
Like,
right. Hold up. And guess what? You did you. Hold it. I respect what you did. I did me. I'm not judging you. Don't judge me. That's what I tell folks. Hold up. Because if we really went back and looked at the whole thing, we both were doing what the Most High said we wasn't supposed to do.
Exactly.
So guess what? One sin ain't great. See, that's another thing. For some odd reason, we real big on my sin wasn't as big as yours.
Jeez.
Sin is sin, baby. It ain't no quantification of who. Guess what? A little white lie is a lie. Murder is murder. In God's eye, they both sins. I told you not to do either one. So stop that and get to the point. Understand this. God's law and man's law is two different things.
That's right.
And that's y'all problem. Y'all try to make it the same. It's not the same. What man might say, okay, God might say you ain't supposed to do it. And guess what? When you get to the place that you're before the ultimate judge, what you gonna do? Well, the law said, I am the law.
Yeah. Oh, Joe. People don't want that conversation, though, Joe. Everybody ain't ready. Yep. That's right. That's right. I love y'all. Dope show. You guys are giving some phenomenal information. I actually have to run because I have to go take care of something else real quick.
Okay.
So I'm about to dip out, but I love y'all. Peace. I will see everybody soon. Phenomenal show. Be safe and be blessed. And if nobody told you today they love you, y'all know who loves you. Your girl Jax. I love you, y'all. Peace out.
Y'all be good. Be good. Be good. Listen. So it's me and Alethea. And Alethea, once again, I want you to tell everybody, Alethea has a great website with some great products. She is Pimpin' Positivity. She is the CEO of Pimpin' Positivity. If you haven't caught her, Google her and YouTube her, and you'll see her on J HUD. You'll see all the great stuff. I share her positivity every morning. I share it to one of my platforms. And let me say this, family. I don't have a problem sharing her and a million other folks I share, because I believe y'all are entertaining, y'all are informational, y'all are inspiring. And just because you're doing greater than me, don't bother me. I want to share you. And we got to stop that. I see people out here. I see people don't know I got a lot of tools. I see people who don't want to click on the podcast because I don't want to support them. Then don't watch. Don't even watch from afar then. Don't just make it that I don't get credit, because I don't have a problem giving you credit. If I'm going to see a person live and I maybe don't mix with that person, I'm still going to click on the live to give them their credit. Because guess what? If I didn't want to watch them say and do what they say, then I don't need to watch it all. You know, we just got to do better about that. We got to stop with all this malarkey, because we are our own worst enemy. And until we address that until we address that behavior and begin to love on one another and understand you might be better than me. That doesn't mean I'm not good at what I do. It just means that there are some things you are better than me at. And guess what? I'm going to let you do you. I'm going to do me, because at the end of the day, as long as I got peace in my life, that's all that counts. Sister Alethea, tell us about your podcast, your website. Tell us what you got going on. Let's go.
My website is IamAlethea.com. My podcast is In the Passenger Seat. It's a very positive podcast where I allow people to come on and tell their story, because your story just might save somebody's life. Because that's how I started off. So that's what I'm doing. I'm giving other people the opportunity to share their stories as well. And that's really what I do. Like, I'm all about motivation. I'm all about empowerment. And I come from people telling me what I could not do. People told me, and if I would have listened to what everybody told me I could not do, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now, because people told me I would not be a speaker because of my stutter. But I'm getting booked for thousands of dollars to do what? Speak. Me and my stutter. But this is how amazing God is. When I tell people that I stutter, most people are shocked. They were like, wait, what? God has it so people don't hear how I say it. They just hear what I say.
That part.
They hear what I say. They don't hear how I say it.
That part.
The only person that really notices it is me.
You know, the words say your gift will make room for you and put you in front of great folks.
And it does.
You know, I laugh because in my 57 years of being on this planet, I have a lot of pictures with a lot of great people that I have had the awesome opportunity to meet. From presidents to be exact, I have pictures with three presidents, Obama, Clinton, and Bush. I have a picture of me and now deceased General Colin Powell. There's some people I've shook hands with, and that I've had the opportunity to sit down and listen to. That I was grateful that not only did they speak to me, but in the process they imparted something to me. They took a little time out, wasn't long, maybe 5 minutes, and allowed me to either ask a question. You know, I had the opportunity to interview Michael Jordan at the NBA All-Star game one time. You know, and I've had some things happen in my life and my life travels that I am thankful and humble for. I am a conduit and a connector to try to get other folks who aspire to do the same things that I did when there was really nobody out there looking like me who did it. You know, a lot of folks don't know I was doing this social media thing long before anybody else was doing it. And you know, that's nothing that I call braggadocious. I'm thankful that I was there to learn to what to do, how to do it. And I don't mind sharing it with anybody. You know, I tell everybody, go and be who you were called to be. I haven't worked a day of my life. I have, even now in what I do in my job, I don't consider it work because I'm helping people. I talk to people. I get people to have an understanding of what's going on. I want to uplift people. I want people to win. I want people to win, especially Black and brown folks that look like you and I. I want everybody to win, but I especially want Black and brown folks that look like you and I, because guess what I tell folks? It ain't where you're from, it's where you're at. And guess what? And too many times folks try to make it seem like the only way you can achieve greatness is you have to do X, Y, Z. I want to be at peace. And guess what? Peace might not look like a Bentley, a 2-story house, and a lot of money. Peace might be me in my little house, just knowing that everything around me is at the same place I'm at peace. So, you know, I'm the type person, you know, Brother Eddie put it on there. I want everyone to win. I really do. I just don't say that. That's why I try to be careful when I try to say certain things, because guess what? If I want everybody to win, sometimes I got to lose that you can win. And sometimes you got to be at a place where you've got to decrease that other folks increase. And so, Sister Alethea, I'm just blessed to be around you. I love you, sis. You know, you make me smile. We laugh and joke all the time, you know, and it saddened my heart that Black and brown folks that look like you and I sometimes are more jealous of you, not understanding that collaboration is always bigger than competition.
Yeah, I have had people, because I have the same mentality as you, and I've had people come for me when they were like, oh well, you know, so and so is better than you, and I will say with a good heart, nobody is better than me. They may do things differently than me, and this is not me bragging on me. They're not better than me. They do things in a different way than I do, but just because they do it in a different way doesn't make it better than me. They just do it differently than me.
They might be better for you in your situation. See, that's why I have to always remind people. I posted something from Pastor Lawrence Levi, and I encourage that people follow Pastor Lawrence Levi and listen to some of the things. Some of us cannot be truthful to ourselves that we are addicted to certain things, and we're really not addicted to the right thing that will help us not only elevate others, but through elevating others, it will elevate us. You know, I pray a prayer every morning, and in my prayer, I say I want to understand people more than they understand me, because I know the more you give, the more you can be receiving. I want to see people uplifted. Understand? I give you a prime example. Brother Eddie Barnett is a prime example. Politically, we see things totally different. We may not be on the same spectrum politically. I can agree to disagree without being disagreeable. And I try to position myself with individuals like Brother Barnett, who's a friend of mine, that just because we don't see things the same way doesn't mean we have to become mortal enemies. It just means that's how you see it, and you're doing what's right for you and your family. And guess what? I don't know the dynamics of your house. And because I don't know the dynamics of your house, and I'm too busy sweeping around my own front door, I ain't got time to sweep around yours. So if that's how you see it, and it's working for you, your wife, your children, and your dynamics, man, I ring the bell and I give a round of applause. You do you, I do me. We'll keep being brothers and loving on each other, even though we might not see things a certain way. But at the end of the day, if you need me, I'm just a phone call away. If you call me and say, brother, I'm in trouble, I'm in peril, I need you, I ain't gonna be like, oh, that's that dude that rock with so-and-so. No, that's my brother. He need help. He need help. Just because we don't see certain things a certain way don't mean he don't need help. And when he called for it, I ain't gonna make no excuses. And see, that's our problem. Our problem is most of us, a lot of us, not all of us, we ain't who we say we are behind closed doors.
Ooh. Facts.
We ain't who we say we are. See, we try to put that facade on
for show. Right. A lot of things are for show, clicks. Like anybody who knows me knows that I am the same person on and off camera. Because I've spent the majority of my life being a chameleon, and I'm not doing that anymore. And how would this work? How would we grow if everybody thought alike? I have learned so much from you, Jax. Like I have learned so much, but if we all thought the same, I could not grow. And I've grown just being on this podcast. Because we all think differently.
Right. Sometimes listen, I judge because that's human nature, but I can't judge nobody because the word makes it clear. The way you judge is how you will be judged also. So do I judge? Yes, but I have to understand the way I send out judgment, I can't be looking crazy when that same judgment comes back to me. That's
Facts.
why I have grace and mercy a lot of times within my judgment. Because should that come back to me, I might want somebody to have grace and mercy on me. And we got to learn to stop being upset with folk because of other folk. If you ain't did nothing to me, and you and somebody I'm close to is beefing, I don't need to inherit that beef y'all two got. At the end of the day, that's y'all beef.
Because
That's y'all beef.
how old are we? And we also have to stop using beef as a marketing tool
Right.
to get ahead. And I have seen a lot of people use beef as a marketing tool
Come on.
to
Jealousy.
get ahead, and that should not. Recently, this happened, and it was all over Facebook this past weekend. Beef was it was very strategic, and everybody who I told this to was like, "You are absolutely right. This was strategic. This boy handpicked the
Listen.
most popular one and started beef
Hey.
because he knew that this would get him attention. So it was used as a marketing tool. It was strategic.
Right. So here's what I tell folks, and I'm this is my opinion. There are folks on here, you can have your opinion. There are certain things that are off limit. My children is off limit. My job is off limit. My spouse is off limit. My mother and father is off limit. My siblings are off limit. Now, if you got problems with me, handle me. But don't bring up anything that you may presume or assume about them, because that's not how we do this. That, to me, you're putting yourself in a position, because these days and time, and like I said, I am a law enforcement officer. I'm a police officer, a commissioned police officer. Y'all don't know how many homicide scenes I done went to because the wrong words were said and they were interpreted the wrong way. And now they're slow singing and flower bringing. And one thing I know, like I tell folks, you ain't coming back after you're dead. If somebody kills you, you ain't coming back for whatever reason. Sometimes humble yourself to say, guess what? You win. You win. You know, because you don't know what folks gonna do when folks start bringing people's wives and marital situations and people, family members and child. You know, I saw a beef on social media where a person said, you know, your daughter a hoe. Really? Hold on. Don't do that. Don't do. If you and me, and me and you at it, leave. Make it you and me.
That bad,
right?
I'm gonna let you have it. Just like Eddie said. I do not get caught up in this negativity. If you want your 5 minutes of fame, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to let you have it. I do not need to be involved in it, because at the end of the day, my name is my brand, and I don't need to get caught up in nothing. So if you want to have your 5 minutes, I will humbly sit back and I'm gonna give it to you. Go ahead, because who gonna look like Boo Boo the fool? Not me.
Listen, if you really look at these meta pennies, shares, stars, listen, unless you Country Wayne, there are very few folks out here that are making. There are very few folks I know who are making $2,000 a month off of social media.
Oh, well.
now hold on. I ain't gonna put nobody business out there. So let me say this.
well,
let me say the following. There are very few folks I know. I can't put 10 fingers up and name 10 people I know that I personally know that are making $2,000 plus off of social media. 10 folks.
Okay.
Guess what? Out of all the people I know, 10 folks is a small percentage.
It is.
So don't get me wrong. There's 10 people out there that's probably making that and much more that I know. But outside the 10, ain't nobody. So I'm like, y'all over here, what is it that y'all wouldn't love this children? Y'all done found a way now all of a sudden to be popular because you weren't popular in high school and you weren't popular when you were growing up. So now all of a sudden, and that's why, no offense, I know folks, I know some females, I know them that have OnlyFans pages that are making a killing. And guess what? If that's how they make their money, I respect them. They ain't here robbing and stealing. They ain't out here doing nothing illegal. See, once again, just because it's not illegal doesn't mean it's not immoral. So, and y'all have to, that's for you. That's not for me. That's not for me. See, once again, I am an officer of the law, not of morality. So at the end of the day, I can have my philosophy and my positioning of a thing, but that's my opinion. And my opinion should be sometimes kept within the confines of my space, my house, and those that I am accountable over. Outside of that, guess what? I should learn sometimes just to keep my mouth closed and say, if that's how you live, get it how you live. Get it how you live.
Who's to say that 9 to 5 they just couldn't do it? And who's to say what this person's situation is? So if this is the only way that I can provide for my family, this is how I'm going to do it.
Get it. Guess what? Long as what you're doing is not illegal. Get it. And understand.
But on the same token, you can't be mad when people call you out on your shit. Like you can't be like,
right. Hold it. This is how
you putting yourself out there.
Here's what I tell folks. If you're a comedian, understand everybody might not find your jokes funny. Prime example. I give you a prime example. When Baby rolled up on Charlemagne the God.
Whoa.
And said, hey, bro, I'm tired of you telling everybody I'm Birdman Sandusky. That man rolled up in that man's studio, looked that man dead in his eye, and told him, put some respect on my name. So guess what? Like I tell folks, I've learned the hard way. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. And guess what? There are folk out here who you think you done got over on them. You think you done did it. There are folks who will wait for years, will keep that ace card in their hand until they're ready to drop it. Them the folks you got to worry about. Right. Them the folks you got to worry about. Hold it. And here's why I tell folks, that's why I try to harbor no ill will toward anybody. If we don't see eye to eye, I'll speak my piece and I'll try to leave it right there and move on. Because life is too short. Life is too short. Look, it is 1 minute to the top of the hour. We've been on here for 2 hours. Alethea, I know you got some stuff coming up. You're getting ready to travel. Tell everybody about you, how to get in touch with you, how to do your thing. Let's get ready to get out of here. Do your thing, girl. Let's get some closing words. Hit it.
You can find me, all things me, at IamAlethea.com. Yes, I've been traveling. I am a motivational speaker, and that is what I do. Listen, know your value, know your worth. It's called self-esteem, self-love, self-care, which means it does not come from anybody else. It comes from you. Know who you are, so nobody has to tell you who you are. And you can go out there and be great in their face, but remember to always be great in your own. And I love y'all.
That part. Listen, y'all, I'm getting ready to get up out of here. It's the top of the hour. 2 hours we've been on here. Big ups to Jax, Sean P. Big ups to the ladies in Brick Cities that were with Jax. And big ups to all of y'all who tuned in. We're going to do this from time to time. We're going to pop in and we're going to try to connect the dots. We're going to try to give you something that will elevate you, inspire you, and put you in a place where you can say, guess what? I just didn't hear some talk. I heard some people who really were genuine with me and they want to see me better. I want to see everybody better. I'm not here to tell you how to think, what to think, but I am telling you, you need to think. This is a part of the community conversation. #TruthBeTold family. This is the new baby. Connect the dots. And we're trying to connect the dot where we can be better. Understand this. We may not see it the same way. We may not worship the same way, We may not work the same way, believe the same way, or been educated the same way, but we are all human beings. And the last time I checked, my philosophy is we all were created by the same creator, and they tell me he makes no mistakes. So if there's any mistakes being made, it's being made by us ourselves. You can correct that. You can fix that, and you can be the best you can be. So as I always tell folks, be better today than you were yesterday. And do something tomorrow to bless somebody that there's no earthly way that they can ever pay you back. And always remember that there is no secret what God can do, what he has done for others, he will and he can do for you. For when God is with you, nothing or no one can stand against you. Y'all be blessed. Have a great one. It's another Tell the Truth Tuesday. This is Connect the Dots, a part of Community Conversations and hashtag Truth Be Told. We're up out of here. Y'all have a good one. Peace.